Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to the best stadium in every American state, part 2. So I reacted to part 1 of this last week, and it was amazing seeing the range and the variety of stadiums. You had the super modern, like the SoFi Stadium. You had, the quite traditional ones, like the ones in Michigan. And you had the quite very simplistic ones, like the one in Alaska. So I'm interested to see, what kind of stadiums I'm going to see in Washington. Like if it's going to be a continuation of the similar styles and trends I've seen before, or if there's going to be anything, really architecturally unique. So yeah, this should be quite fun to see. So let's do it.
NEBRASKA. Corn. They have what might be the biggest baseball stadium in the US outside of the MLB. But I think if I didn't give it to the Cornhuskers' own Memorial Stadium,
85K?
Then I might suffer a suspicious popcorn-related death. Anyway, it's a huge stadium with a somewhat unique layout, and some rather extravagant facades on either side.
I like it.
Nevada, the state known for its Las Vegas. Obviously, Allegiant Stadium takes the cake.
Yeah.
Not many stadiums can simultaneously look like a Roomba vacuum and badass. The interior looks even better in my opinion, and those windows. I guess I have a thing for windows, because they just make the world of difference. Also, not too many stadiums have the option of a fake turf or natural grass field.
But why did they limit it to 65K? I would have thought they'd have made it as big as possible, or is it expandable?
The new and improved Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Although I think the old Hampshire has some slightly better stadiums, but also slightly more people, so that makes sense. But it wins the motorsports battle. However, like I said, those don't count. Anyway, I'm gonna go with this nice little ballpark by the Merrimack River, Northeast Delta Dental Stadium. It's got a unique exterior and a nice little attached hotel beyond the outfield.
Somewhere for you to stay if you're traveling
The
in.
new and improved Jersey. As mentioned numerous times on this channel, both of the New York NFL teams play in New Jersey. It might seem strange, but it was common sense to build here.
I like this one
It's in the same metro area and the land is presumably much cheaper. And the same goes for one of New York's MLS teams, but MetLife is just that bit better.
Looks like a coliseum, like a modern day coliseum.
Despite the lack of a roof. It's just, well, for starters, the sheer magnitude of that metallic facade. But the interior is also rather nice.
I like it. I want to go there.
I'm not going to say it's the new and improved Mexico, but a taste of Mexico and the USA. Including the drug trafficking. At least they got a great series out of it. Without a shadow of a doubt, I've got to give it to my boys over at Isotopes Park.
One of my favourite shows of all time.
It's a fantastic ballpark, but even if it wasn't, they're called the Albuquerque Isotopes. That's an automatic win if ever I've seen one. Oh, and that's from The Simpsons in case you haven't seen it. But you have. New York.
New York.
Just like the Old York in England, which has the county of Yorkshire named after it, New York City has the state named after it. Kind of.
How did I not know
Not
that?
really. Not at all. But anyway, Yankee Stadium is the world's most expensive baseball stadium, and although Citi Field is also quite nice, I think that I have to give it to the Yankees.
How much did
I
Yankee
like how
Stadium
they've
cost?
drawn inspiration from the design of the old Yankee Stadium. So much so that some people assume that it's the same one.
It does look nice. I like it.
North Carolina, the Turpentine State. That's the real nickname.
Is it really?
Not very appealing. But it's good to get rid of some paint that is appealing. They do have a varied array of stadiums, including one in the Appalachian Mountains. I said it right this time. And at last count, there are around 64,000 minor league baseball stadiums. But I still think the Panthers' home is the best.
It's very pretty.
It seems fairly typical for an NFL stadium at first, but look at that facade action. Very unique and quite impressive.
I like the blue interior.
But yeah, the interior is fairly standard.
I like it.
North Dakota.
Dakota.
It's very similar to South Dakota, except, well, spoiler alert, but their mountains are known for their lack of giant faces. I guess it gets quite cold in this state because the three largest stadiums are all domes, and so it's hard to pick. This one is home to the most successful team in FCS football. But this one
What's SCS football? Is that the Southern Conference?
is newer, bigger, and just looks a little better. So I'll go with the Alerus Center without
Alerus?
much conviction. But it's
Alerus?
pretty cool to be fair.
How do you pronounce that?
Ohio, the Gozaimasu State. This one was incredibly difficult. You have two NFL stadiums, two Major League Baseball stadiums, a brand new MLS stadium, and another one as well. Two brand new MLS stadiums, all of which are greater in terms of their amenities and technology than this iconic
102K?
football stadium. But I still can't help it. It's one of my favorite college football stadiums, so I just have to go with it.
That's a big boy.
It is of course part of the 100K club as well, but it's more than just big, it's unique. And I love this Pantheon-inspired section of the exterior. Oklahoma, the musical state. It was another tough choice between the Boone, a fairly unique one, and the Gaylord.
Whoa.
But the Gaylord is the one for me.
Wow, just look how many people are in here.
Oh, I should say its full name. That's Gaylord Family Oklahoma Memorial Stadium. To avoid confusion. The stadium has a stunning brick facade on all sides, and since the south end zone seating has been expanded, it's become not just a bowl stadium, but one of the standout stadiums in the Big 12 Conference. Oregon, or Oregano in Italian. I've snubbed the Ducks and gone with Providence Park. It is by far the most characterful stadium in Major League Soccer, largely because it wasn't initially built for soccer and has slowly evolved into a top-notch soccer-specific stadium, and a top-notch fan base to go along with it. Not that I'm taking that into consideration.
Yeah, I love the Timbers. That's the team that cuts a bit of wood every time they score a goal. I love that.
Just pointing it out. Pennsylvania, the Vampire State.
Is it really?
Oh no, that's never mind. Much like Ohio, it has two NFL teams and two MLB teams. But PNC Park stands out for me. Yes, it is largely because of that incredible view that the spectators are rewarded with. But it's still a great ballpark in its own right. Bricks are a very common material used for the facade of a baseball stadium. So they've changed it up a bit with a bit of stonework. Ah yes, the Keystone State, that's it. But yeah, it is all about that view, isn't it?
That view is fantastic. You can watch a bit of baseball and, take in some sightseeing too.
Rhode Island, the tiny state that isn't even an island for crying out loud. I guess I'll have to give it to Brown Stadium. It's nothing special, but I can't say it's nothing fancy, because it kinda is. In a way. The exterior of the main stand has that old-fashioned yet timeless aesthetic. They may have overdone the old part though, because it genuinely does look abandoned. South Carolina. Like North Carolina, just without the stench of turpentine in the air. This is ridiculously difficult. It's a toss-up between two college stadiums, both with a similar capacity. I honestly can't choose, so I guess I'll toss a coin. The Queen's Head is Clemson, and the Kangaroo and Emu is Williams-Brice.
They're very similar, in fairness.
And Queen's Head it is.
Very similar.
Clemson Memorial Stadium. I have to clarify something. In an earlier video, I joked that Clemson fans sacrificed a small goat before each game, and that's why it was known as Death Valley. A stupid joke, I know. But due to the fact that South Carolina is not Saudi Arabia, I expected everybody to assume that it wasn't true. but
Did some people actually think he was... Oh, come on.
apparently not.
Come on.
It does
guys.
kind of look like a valley though.
It does.
South Dakota, the state with this beautiful mountain. Unfortunately, it seems that someone has defaced it. Well, I say defaced, but that doesn't seem like the appropriate word.
Rushmore, right?
Dana
Yeah.
Dyke House Stadium was built just a few years ago. It has a simple, clean, modern design, and it's just
Dana Dyke House. Interesting name.
a minor detail that I like that they've actually used some coloured benches. Tennessee, the racket sports state. It faced some stiff opposition from another member of the 100K club, but despite not being one of my
I like
favourite
that Nissan
NFL
Stadium.
stadiums,
Striking.
I still think Nissan Stadium is the best in the state. Only just though.
I
It
like
does
it.
have a natural grass field, which I do prefer the look of. And, crucially, they have these nice little houses behind the north end zone seating. Which
What are they
is nice.
What are they for?
Texas, the thick toast state. It's spoiled for choice in every major sport. I really like the new MLS stadium in Austin, but I can't go past the glitz and glamour of AT&T Stadium. A sleek, shiny silver exterior with plenty of glass is matched with an even
Is that Jerry's World? Or the stadium that, oh God. What's the guy? Jerry Kraft? I'm confusing. I'm so confused.
flashier interior, including a video board the size of Rhode Island,
Wow, that thing's
as well as
massive.
this unique seating situation behind each end zone, and it's all topped off with a retractable roof. You can't really ask for much more than that.
He's not wrong.
Utah, a state known for its salt lakes, mountains, and Mormons. Rice-Eccles Stadium is not the biggest in the state, but I think after the recent renovations, it just has the edge over the others.
50k is still
It
pretty
also
good.
has a stunning mountain view, but then again, so do all the other stadiums in Utah. However, they don't have an Olympic cauldron, do they? Oh, wait a minute, it's from the Winter Olympics, never mind. Vermont, a state known for its many trees. And Youngman Field at Alumni Stadium is quite an accurate representation of the state. It's small, very small, but you get to see some beautiful natural scenery. A golf course counts as natural, right? But I just love how it goes from the synthetic turf field into the expansive fields of green. Virginia, the state with a girl's name. Now, I really had trouble with this one, but after consulting the coin once again,
This one looks kind of simplistic, you know, like there's not much variation in the seating. It's big, you know, it's fairly big, but yeah, there's nothing really unique about it, if you know what I mean.
I've gone with Lane Stadium. Yes, it's not quite as picturesque as Scott Stadium, but it does have an impressive castle-like facade, as well as this huge grandstand over on the east.
He loves his facades.
Washington, the state with the president's name. This is the biggest stadium in Seattle, but this is the city's NFL stadium. Both of them are right by the water, both of them are known for being very loud, probably due to the large roof canopies, and I'm quite fond of both of them. But once you break it down piece by piece, you realize that Lumen Field is just that little bit better in every aspect,
Definitely. 100%
other
agree.
than the capacity and the surrounding scenery.
Great looking.
But
from the
yeah,
inside.
it's a pretty special stadium. West Virginia, the state with a song that's more famous than the state itself. I think it might also be the name of one of Kanye West's children. Pushka Stadium is not anything out of the ordinary. It's a no-frills design that is similar to numerous stadiums across the country.
It is.
But the same could be said for most stadiums in West Virginia. Regardless, it's still a fine
To be honest, the same could be said for most stadiums, you know, period. Like, they definitely borrow a lot of stuff from each other in terms of the aesthetics and design.
stadium that gets the job done. Wisconsin. Jeez.
Wisconsin.
I don't think I have a choice. Lambeau Field is one of the
Field.
most iconic stadiums there is. The combination of a timeless design and an NFL-sized budget for upgrades and renovations over the years makes for a unique look. A grand brick facade for the exterior, and an interior mostly consisting of a simple seating bowl made up of benches. Wyoming, a beautiful state that shares its name with a Chinese man I know.
WYOMING.
Whoops, just got cancelled. It's also the least populated state, so there's not going to be huge stadiums when the biggest city has a population of around 65,000. But War Memorial Stadium isn't even in the biggest city. It's a simple design, but I like the way those upper decks curve and the lower decks don't. That's an interesting look. And that's it for today's video. Like I said, it was basically just my favourite stadium in each state. There wasn't too much objectivity going on. Anyway, if you enjoy—
Yeah, a very nice range of stadiums. If I had to pick my favourite two, this is probably going to be cheating, but I'm going to have to go with the SoFi Stadium and the new one in Nevada. Just, it's hard to beat that modern aesthetic. You know, the size, the scale, the technology, those huge screens. And the SoFi's got that one that goes around the stadium like a ring shape. Absolutely fantastic. But $5 billion, I think it cost $5.4 billion for the SoFi Stadium. Insane amount of money, but yeah, that thing's gonna be around for a long ass time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.